Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the den. Appreciate you hitting that play and coming over here to hang out with me, man, today, be it on the YouTube or on the audio version, man. I very, very much appreciate it. And thank you for your support. Today, going to be doing a movie review for the film of The Strangers, Chapter 3. That's right, there has been 1 and 2, and now Chapter 3 is out, which I believe is the end of the trilogy for the Strangers films. We'll see if anything comes out of it, but based on other stuff, probably not. But yes, that was the second film I saw in theaters last week. I saw Send Help for this one. Did a little double feature action in the movie theaters. That sounded much dirtier than I meant it. But anyways, let's freaking keep it rolling. So yeah, I saw Send Help. That review already out, man. It's on the YouTube. It's on the audio. If you've already checked it out, very much appreciate you. Thank you very much for the support. If you haven't checked it out yet, and if you want to check it out, again, it's on the YouTube. It's on the audio formats as well. But we are talking about The Strangers Chapter 3. These films have been met with a lot of criticism as they have come out, and Chapter 3 is the latest and, again, believe the final film in this series. Again, I believe it is just a trilogy that they're doing with The Strangers, and we're going to talk about Stranger Chapter 3 spoiler free, man. So without further ado, let's pull up that poster for the YouTube viewers, man. There you go. There's our star, Madeleine Petch. I believe I said that correctly. If not, I'm sorry. The film is rated R for language and strong bloody violence. Film runs in at 1 hour, 31 minutes, and is classified as a horror, mystery, thriller film. Now, if you've been with the channel for a while, you know that I like to call that the trifecta of awesome, man. Horror, mystery, thriller awesomeness. 1 hour, 30 minutes, breeze of a time and all that stuff, even though unfortunately did not feel like that when watching this movie in theaters. Now, like I mentioned, there's been a lot of criticism with the first two chapters of these movies, and I was okay with the other two. Like the first one is basically The Strangers, the classic that we all know and love, but obviously not as good. And I was okay with that one. Like that one had enough enjoyment for me and all that stuff. Like they added in some new stuff, obviously, and then I didn't really care for the fiance character and all that stuff, but I was all right with that movie. Chapter two comes out. Okay. Um, didn't like all the flashback stuff they did. I didn't really care for the story they were telling with the backstory of our killers and all that stuff. And that one was definitely rougher. And then here comes chapter three. Now, what I liked about chapter two is that movie started off basically right after the events of chapter one. This movie, again, I'm not spoiling anything, but this one it starts with a flashback, and then we get to where we were with where we left off and all that stuff. And I think that's kind of like the big problem with these movies is the story is there, but it's just so jumbled and messed up and all that stuff. Like, I don't care if you give the backstory to the horror characters. No, that's like a thing in the horror world where we don't like backstories given to, our killers. We don't need to know what made them the way they are and all that stuff, or what happened with them, or how they got the way they are and all that stuff. I know that is a big issue with some people, but for me, I don't really care. But it just felt so out of place, but also overdone. Like just overly did it. And I was like, man, this is just taking a lot away. We can done with that. Like I mentioned, it was 1 hour 31 minutes. Movie felt a lot longer, man. Like it was unfortunate because, like I said, I was okay with the other two, and this one I was like, man. And I don't know if it was like remnants of is remnants the right word? Probably not. Knowing me, probably not. But I don't know if it's coming from Send Help, which is such a good movie, to going into this movie and just seeing the glaring issues this one has. Like there's potential with this movie. There's, extreme bloody violence and all that stuff. It's there for you horror fans, and it gets pretty crazy. Unfortunately, there is a bit of CGI blood, it looked like, in this movie, but for the most part, the rest of the stuff seems normal. Normal for horror movies. But um, yeah, it was rough, man. Like, I understand what they were doing. Like, again, there's parts that are good, and there's pieces that could work, right? And there's talks that the three films could be turned into one long movie where I guess hopefully they'll take some stuff out and hopefully rearrange things. Because the backstory, like again, I get it and I understand it, but it's just so out of place and it's just overdone. Like if you can redo it in a way that is not so overused and just in better placement, like it maybe works a lot better. You know, who knows? I'm just a schmo reviewing things on YouTube, but like if you just maneuver some things around, it might work a little bit better. So with that talks of it being released as like a whole run instead of three separate chapters and all that stuff, maybe there's a good possibility there of it working out and everything. But Yeah, this movie, like again, it had its potential, has moments that were good, but and I could tell the story they're trying to tell and all that stuff, especially what Madeline's character's been going through with this whole run. Because remember, these are, though they're three separate movies, it's basically a run together, right? And just seeing what her character's had to go through all of this stuff, to see where her character was in the beginning to where it ends up going throughout the chapters and all that stuff. Like I can understand the story they were putting together there and what they're trying to tell, but it just didn't fully work for me, at least, and all that. And apparently for a lot of people, there's this one didn't get reviewed too well either. Which again, movies are extremely subjective. There might be people who absolutely loved it, which is fine. Like I said, there are elements of this movie that work, but for the most part, yeah, this one didn't work as much for me as, like, I was okay with the other two, and maybe again, maybe I don't know if Sin helps helping or hurting it a little bit, but this one I wasn't as into, and I'm trying to think for some. I think it's mostly because those flashbacks, because the flashbacks happen a lot of times. It's the same, basically the same flashback, and I tried to talk around it without spoiling anything, but this deals with the area you're going to go to in this movie and all that stuff. Which again, I understand. Like, it's not a process of I don't understand what they're doing. I get what they're doing. It just doesn't feel like it's working. And it's unfortunate, because if anything, through these three films, it shows how good Madeline Petch is. And again, hopefully I'm saying her name right. She's freaking good. She's the star of the franchise here, or the trilogy, and she does a great job. Like, she conveys every single emotion she needs to convey. She's doing a great job as our leading lady in this movies. Um, and I don't want her to get hurt by these films, which unnecessarily happens in that world and all that stuff. When movies do bad, it hurts the main star and all that. Hopefully, that's not the case for her, because again, she is a talent and she is the best part of this trilogy by all means, and she is doing a very good job. It's the stuff around her that just isn't working right, and can't fault her for that. And it's just unfortunate, right? Because the Strangers franchise, again, that first film is just an absolute classic. People love it, and it's very good. Then we did, was it Pray at Night? Was that the name of the second one? Which I don't, I feel like, I could be wrong, maybe Mandela effect or something, but I feel like people weren't into that one when it came out, but they got around to it, to being into it. And then fast forward to these three movies, and pretty much the whole talk is people not really enjoying them. And it sucks because, a lot of people put time and effort and work into these things. And I don't like to be overly critical on movies and all that stuff. It's not my thing. There's plenty of other channels that do that. But man, what a miss. Like, what a miss with an easy IP, right? Like, it could have worked. You got a talented actress. There's pieces, again, there's pieces there that work. And if you can just figure out a way to rearrange them, if that thing comes true where they're going to put all of them into one long run of a movie, it could work. You just got to remove a lot of stuff. Got to remove a lot of stuff, mix them around. Maybe you'll get more of a cohesive, well done story. But at the way they've been presented so far, just didn't work, man. And again, that's very unfortunate. But that's where we're at. So, being as nice as I am, I'm not gonna beat up this movie anymore. I'm gonna get out of here with this review. But those are my spoiler-free takes on the Strangers and the whole trilogy as overall. Positive, Madeline Petch, fantastic. Madeline, Madeline, Mad- sorry, so sorry. She's fantastic. She does her job. Rest of it, a mess, just an absolute mess. Good moments, moments that work. Understand what you're going for. Just failed, and that's unfortunate. But that's where we are, man. So if you saw The Strangers Chapter 3 or the trilogy overall, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. But before we get out of here, I'd like to always remind you matter. You're capable of incredible things, man. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself some time. Give yourself some patience, and you'll get there, man. But as always, believe in yourself. Trust in yourself. You matter, man. That'll be it for this review. We'll be back with more later.